HO scale model railroaders. If you can't buy it, build it. And I do believe it's part 4. I have, let me pause this. I have some BN paint that I mixed up originally for the Kato ST40s. They didn't have green handrails, so I had to mix up some paint to match that. But so this is really rough. Makes it easier for me to see how far I've gotten on the progress. And I realized I come across the problem. I bought this sandpaper at Menards, local store here, not far away from home. And it says 220 extra fine grit. It's not true. Look at the scratches on that. Right there. I have this from years ago, and I don't have much left. I'm running out, so I thought, okay, I'll buy some more sandpaper, and the only thing Menards has is that, which is see, it says 220. It's not 220. It's more like 180. I have auto body experience. The larger the number, the finer the grit. So this sandpaper is not going to work anymore. I've got to come across some more sandpaper. See, I watered down the paint. I put the paintbrush in the water, distilled water, and then I dip it in the paint, and I watered it down to get it to flow across there, to see where I'm at, see which needs more work. And I'm also at the same time, this was a loco I bought used off of eBay, and I think this is one I paid $187 for. It's got ditch lights and a decoder, and apparently the shell was cracked, and I didn't know it at the time, but when I put it back together, this happened a few years ago, the cracks became more evident. So I'm using this Milliput to fill in the cracks. See the crack there? But first, before I did that, I had to spread it a little bit and get some super glue in it. Because if you don't glue it, it doesn't do any good to try to fill the cracks. It'll just reappear. So I glued it, and by spreading it to get the glue in there, it ended up looking worse than it did before. But what else can you do? And the reason I'm doing this now is because here's a loco that I did. This is a custom loco. I may not have this paint anymore. I got to mix up some more paint. I figured, well, I got this Kato here shell. I just finally got handrails for it. It's hard to get Kato handrails off eBay. This is going to be the sister to 6617. This is going to be 6619, and this is a non-dynamic. So when I get the paint right to match the Sioux, I'm going to paint this shell, and I'm going to have all this sanded down, and I'm going to paint this without going over the lettering. And what you do is you use painter's tape, and you fold it back when you're painting and let it blend in. That way you don't get a paint line. So I got that to do. And then when I bought the handrails, I ended up getting they had a whole bunch of stuff together for $25. I got this Athearn Blue Box ST40T-2 shell. And I happen to have some enamel paint left over that I want to get rid of, a black and a yellow, so it's going to be a Susquehanna. It may not be exactly the right yellow, but I'm going to use it up, and then after I get that painted, I'm going to buy decals. But I'm also working on, I had this shell. It's going to be a Santa Fe -8, so I've got a lot of projects to do. I want to wrap up this one here, but I got to get some sandpaper. So that's where I'm at right now. And then I want to say, when you're doing a project like this, put the chassis on it occasionally to make sure that that's going to fit, because nothing worse than finishing a shell and finding out it won't fit on the chassis because you made alterations to it. This fits. It's a tight fit, but it was like that originally. So anyway, as soon as I get the sandpaper, I'm going to be sanding this down, and any low spots, that need more of this milliput, I'll put some milliput in it. That number board and light housing there, that's all. It was a different part of GE. It didn't really fit on here. I had to modify it. So it's rough. I realize it's rough, but I'm going to take my time on it now. So it may be a while before I get a final video on this, okay? Thank you.